Welcome everybody. Welcome to Empowered Living. It's good to see everybody here and appreciate everybody coming out. And of course, with the forecast for weather, who knows? That impacts some people, other people it doesn't impact.
I know. We looked at the radar, we're both saying, hey, we're not. I was in the area because I was meeting around Marietta Square at 4:30. I finished, so Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, I have no excuse. I'm like right down the road.
Glenn Burns says we're going to be okay
Yeah.
for a while. So
Yeah, that's what I
trust you,
heard,
Glenn
like
Burns.
10 o'clock or so. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll be home by the time it gets yucky. Probably more like 2 in the morning, but that's when it usually wakes you up, right?
So, welcome to Monday Night Empowered Living. I'm John Hyatt. I'm your coach for life. I'm your coach for life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the duration and that's the topics that life brings in. And so I appreciate you coming tonight. And this is a donation class, so thank you in advance for your generous donation in the blue bowl by the door. We will start, and because of the number, I mean, we can approach this class in a very different way, but let's just kind of start. Kim, why don't we start with you and just say your name and then something you're working on, something you'd like to talk about, or something you want to celebrate.
So my name's Kim, and I think what I am always working on is loss, dealing with my personal feelings on that, and really trying, like you were talking about, not worrying about things, not dwelling on things, and moving past things so that I'm not stuck in certain things. And that's what, when I've been here before, it's always helped me to try to move past some things to get to a better spot about how I feel about things.
Okay.
Elise, and I am in a process of finding peace and happiness so that I can be support for everyone around me who seems to need me.
Okay.
And I'm Jenna, and it's been complicated lately, so I don't really know exactly how to one thing I'm working on.
Okay.
But I think I need kind of just a refreshing, not only of my spirit, but just of my body. Like I need some, I feel worn down a little bit, so I'm here to kind of get a shot in the arm of
Okay.
mojo
Okay, great.
and
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, my name's Charlene Shockley. Oh gosh, I'm always working to find out what the next adventure is in my life. John and I always have these questions of, so why are you sending people to me? But you know, there's a lot of hurting people in this world, and what I'm trying to learn is same. I think everyone is. It's just I work 12, 14 hours a day, and I'm trying to learn not to do that. 7 days a week, and it's starting to take a little toll because it's and like I did actually take I felt guilty laying on the couch taking a nap Sunday afternoon. Isn't that horrible?
Wow.
So I have so much work I could be doing,
Sure.
you know, because I met with 2 new people on Saturday, but we can talk about that another time. But it's just learning to you know, just give those to God, and it's okay. I'm not in charge of the universe, thankfully. It's not my job.
You talk about
Okay.
secondary PTSD, you know, from taking on other people's hurts. And
Yeah, so why don't we talk a little bit about that, okay? First off, we always celebrate right where you are, because no matter what's going on,
Hello.
life is happening, and we're always learning and we're always growing. And when we keep it in that perspective alone can be a good reminder that, number one, we're taking ourselves way too seriously, okay, and what's going on. So lighten up. Stop taking whatever you got going on as serious as you're taking it, okay? I'm not downplaying anything you got going on. What we all have going on, whatever each of us has going on, is significant. But we can create a whole bunch of energy around how big of a deal or how serious or what it all means that creates its own amount of energy. that affects how we show up in different environments and with different people. So lighten up. Cut yourself a little slack. Allow yourself to be human and allow God to be God. Oftentimes we want to assume responsibility for a lot of things, especially other people's feelings, other people's emotions, other people's problems, other people's beliefs. And we can assume that simply because they come to us or they're close to us, family is a real powerful draw on that kind of energy. And those kind of relationships, codependent relationships, can go all the way back to the moment we were born or before that exists in a family dynamic. And next thing you know, we're 5 years old trying to take care of our mom or dad and their feelings, or a sibling and their feelings. And we assume that will subconsciously, we're not even aware of it. But we start to get into the pattern. So remember, the first rule is to pay attention. If you leave this class with nothing else other than a sharper sense of being able to pay attention to what's going on up here and what's going on out there, to observe it, to ask questions about it, to be curious about it, I will have met my objective. Okay? Because everything else will follow from that. And that's what we talked about last time. You had a big shift because you started to pay attention, and from paying attention we get really clear on, this doesn't work. This does work. I don't want this. I really want that. And by creating those little, by sharpening the vision. Anybody ever taken a vision test where you're sitting behind the machine in the optometrist's office? 1 or 2, 3 or 4, A or B, which one's better? Okay? And it's like a never-ending thing, and most of the time, I can't even tell.
Right.
Okay?
I'm
I'm just
like,
gonna
"Hey,
guess
again.
here.
Come on, can you do that one again?"
That's
Exactly,
right.
yeah. I'm just gonna guess here and say,
Wait a minute, can you go
What
back
are you-
over that?
Yeah,
I
go
get
back.
confused. Right.
and so, but our growth is the same way. Okay? And even when we think we've got it clear, we discover there's more to see. Okay? Just when we think we've got it figured out, the universe goes, tsh, tsh. No, you don't. Look over here. Yeah. The
Yeah.
cosmic 2x4, or just a simple, oh, I didn't know that. Okay? And just that simple little shift, those little degrees of shift that we talk about, create more clarity, more learning, more perspective. And the perspective goes deeper, broader. Because most of the time, our perspective is both, it's narrow, we don't have any peripheral vision other than what we're focused on and how it's supposed to be. So it's very narrow and it's very shallow. There's no breadth and there's no depth. And we seem to hang up right there in that little space. And then we wonder why we can't shift, we can't move, we can't find solutions, or we keep repeating patterns. And it comes down to our whole perspective. It's like, how can I kick these blinders out? And if I can't kick them out all the way, okay, I don't have to. Again, if I kick them out a degree more, I see, oh, okay. If I deepen my vision, I go, oh, isn't that interesting? I wonder what that means. If I give that more thought, if that's more true or accurate, if I wanted to believe more of that, then I believe more of this. What impact will that start to have on my thoughts, beliefs, words, and behaviors? And so we then can create that shift of where now we've got a whole new machine in front of us that says 1 or 2, 3 or 4. Okay? And we have a whole opportunity to grow. And that really is all life is ever. You know, I've got this tree over here, okay? And the tree is always symbolic that we're all really just human beings growing like a tree grows. Okay? Number one, nothing happens overnight. How long does it take for an acorn to become a mighty oak tree? Decades, hundreds of years. And if you look at the sequoias out there in California, okay, centuries. Okay? So we forget that there's a process because we want everything right now. We want to heal our losses. We want to be over our losses or process our losses. We want to be able to provide solutions for new people. We want to be able to plug in and get an instant charge that's simple from things. We want to be able to see things in a different way. And that must have or have to have energy creates its own dynamic as well that says rush, 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 rush. Get there, get there, get there, get there, get there. And that creates, again, its own energy vibration of lack. I'm not the mighty oak yet, so I must not be an oak tree. See, the acorn is already hating itself because it's looking at the mighty oaks and going, I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I'm just a little sprout. Heck, I haven't even broken ground yet. Okay? And therefore, I can't, I won't, I shouldn't, I couldn't. Okay? I doubt, don't have enough, never get there. And so the game is over before it even starts. But if you can put all of that inside and say, I'm a tree. I go through my seasons. Okay, right now we're coming into spring. I mean, things are popping and blooming already. Daffodils, blossoms, for those with allergies, the pollen, you know, just see the whole cloud of yellow go blowing by, all right? But that's a process too. We sometimes don't allow ourselves the process. And in lack of the process, we create stress, anxiety, unavailability because we're too caught up in not having something. And we lose out. We lose out on the value of the growing experience. And that's what Terrence the turtle, and I Googled what Terrence did, or Gina Googled what Terrence, the name Terrence means. And evidently it's Roman for Terentius or something like that. And I forget what. But anyway, I kind of like the Roman Terentius. Sounds like a gladiator, you know, or a Roman legionnaire or whatever. Sounds pretty cool. But this type of movement is what the turtle symbolizes. It's allowing ourselves to grow. Well, guess what? If we're growing, it helps us to give ourselves permission to be growing and learning. And that's why I say take the pressure off. You don't have to have it all figured out. Whatever you're dealing with, you don't have to have 100% of the solution right now. You're not supposed to have 100% of the solution right now. God's going, you're in the process. I'm going to give you a little bit. If you pay attention a little bit more, you're going to give yourself a little bit, okay, more, and you're going to grow and shift and change. And this is how growth happens. The roots grow deeper, the trunk widens, the branches go out, the fruit comes, the leaves come, the leaves go, the fruit falls. Winter comes, spring comes, summer comes, fall comes. So allow yourself to be in the process of life. Embrace your humanity and allow yourself to be human. And give that gift to everybody around you. Allow them to be human. Oh, they're going through this. We don't need to judge. Oh, it's interesting. How can I help you? How can I support you? Oh, you know, I'm available for this, but I'm not available for this. You need $1,000? I'm sorry, I'm not available for financial support. I'm sure you'll find the right solutions for that. But I can support you this way if you would like. Okay? So put yourself in a position where you allow and you get in that flow. And you'll be surprised at when you are in that mode, when you are in that energy level, the blinders start to widen by themselves. Okay? Your depth starts to expand. You start to swim in the deep end, okay, instead of staying in the shallow end. And the ability to go deeper on your insight, deeper into your relationships, deeper into your customers, deeper into your clients, deeper into your friends, simply by allowing yourself to go, I'm going with the flow on this. I could get all stressed out. That's an option. And that's paying attention too, is go, isn't it interesting? I'm starting to feel kind of stressed, paying attention. Oh, is that what I want? What kind of results does stressful energy create? You know? What kind of energy does stressful energy bring me? Okay. Is that a fit for me? Is that what I want? No? Then then I can take responsibility. I am taking responsibility for my energy, and I'm going to shift how I'm thinking about it and how I'm seeing about it and how I want to vibrate. So instead of going down the stress road or the anxiety road or the lack of trust road, what's that? Reacting to the situation, I'm going to go, I can, instead of reacting, I can respond. And when I respond to something instead of react, I take charge of it. I literally take charge of it, and I say no to what I don't want. And I say, this is what I want to create. I want to have a different conversation with my ex than I could have about this topic, because I want specific results. And I want different results. And then that helps you show up. So it's all about growing. And to grow, you have to allow and accept the process. Okay? Now, are there shortcuts in the process? Well, I could argue no, there's no shortcuts, or I could argue yes. I would argue no, meaning that we have to do the same thing to get to where we have to cover the same ground to get from A to B. Or we can cover different ground to get from A to B. Or depending on how fast we process what we want and how fast we create the shift, that's going to impact how quickly I get to what I want. And so this is the benefit of practice, okay? By paying attention and then taking responsibility, hey, what I want isn't going to come to me until I take responsibility. What I want isn't going to come to me anyway, okay? But the quicker I can take responsibility, the faster I can then focus on creating conditions for what I want. Oh, I have to make a phone call, and I've got a situation and I need to make a phone call, but I'm kind of reluctant to make a phone call because old energy, whatever might be going on, awkwardness, difficulty. Okay, with hesitation, the stress kind of build up, right? If we put off having that kind of conversation with somebody, be it a customer or a family member or a friend, the more that stress and anxiety builds up, the more fear and doubt it creates, and the more we keep putting it off. But the quicker we take responsibility, it says, I got it, I'm going to have this conversation with somebody. The instant we take responsibility for it, the quicker we go into, okay, how do I want this conversation to go? How do I create the conversation? What results do I want? Oh, how does that What does that mean for me and how I want to show up? What type of energy am I going to have? When I pick up the phone and call the person, what kind of energy or tone am I going to have? What kind of specific words am I going to say? You know, if I say it a certain way, I'm going to get a certain result. How do I increase the conditions for success? I shift the way I talk.
I was gonna say, we're sending an
I
email.
what's that?
We're sending email
Or-
because you know
or
they're
with
gonna
the
be
email.
very. I have to send an email on this person because I know they're just gonna blow me up. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna create the conditions, be responsible, and just send an email.
And send an email.
Because he's already yelled at me once. I'm like, I'm not paying attention. I'm not.
It's not available.
Sure.
for
Not
phone
available
call.
for
that. There you go.
That process is not working for me.
Mhm.
I cut
Right.
you off for a reason. I am not.
And of course, the
responding.
benefit of email is we can take more time to think, more
Mhm.
time to
Oh,
write,
yeah, right
and we
down.
could put it down in a very emotionally unattached way. Okay.
And sometimes writing it out, I mean, I coach that as, you know, on presentation for sales, I kind of role play and then sometimes just writing out what you're gonna say to the client
Right.
is a good thing because, and that could be difficult too if you're seeing an ex-husband or a family member and maybe writing it out because the emotions could be implayed and you know, they go this way, you're gonna go this way. And I think just having a script and trying to stay with it because you're on a process, you're on a mission.
Well, thank you. And a script is helpful because then I might have to practice, I might want to practice. There's benefit in practicing new words and new phrases of how do I really want to say this?
Mhm.
Okay. What way, how can I say this in order to create conditions for the response or the result that I want to get? Oh, hey, are you open for, this is an idea of mine and I was thinking, are you open for, you know, what are your thoughts? That's one type of response. Okay, that's one way of saying something that can get a specific response. The other one might be, hey, last time you never, and you never, or you always do this. This time you need this, I need this from you, I'm going to demand it because it's my right, and you need to show up and bring it. Each one of those creates a specific result. Okay? The old habit will take us the old way, and we'll get the old result. The other way goes completely different potential possibilities. Now, the other person, the free will of the other person doesn't change because they can still choose to shut you down no matter how you
Right.
phrase it. Okay? But you have done your job by taking responsibility to create the conditions. Therefore, you've at least opened the door. Okay? Because creating conditions is about opening doors. What doors are open for you right now? With whatever thing you're dealing with right now, challenges. Are there open doors or closed doors? Are you an open door or a closed door? Is the other person open or closed? And what opportunities exist to create a different outcome? Okay? So again, these are deliberate, what I'm giving you, what we're talking about tonight are deliberate thinking skills, thinking tools, thinking techniques that you can start to apply to help you get clarity in what you want. And that's the beauty of scripting. The beauty of scripting for me was by practicing scripting and writing as if I already have what I want. I would constantly expand the ability to think about what I want and start to get really clear about what I want. That spillover effect also helped me get more clear on what I don't want. So whenever what I don't want pops up into my experience, I spend less time. Talk about time. I spend less time dealing with somebody or a situation that has little to no value of me, and the instant I recognize it and take responsibility for it, I can close that door, okay? Or shift my direction and go find the door that's open for me with what I want. All of this is about energy, though, and paying attention to your energy. And again, this takes 100% responsibility. You've got to be willing to relieve everybody else for any responsibility for your feelings. An ex, old friend, a child, a boss, the economy, the president, whatever. You have to say, no, you know what? I'm going to take my power and the responsibility for my feelings away from you now. Because you never had it in the first place. And I'm going to bring it back. Forgive me for making you responsible for my feelings and my state of mind and my power. Now look at you and they'll go, what? What are you talking about? Okay? And they'll get it when you explain it to them. When you say, I would always blame things or you or hold you responsible, even if I didn't blame you, I would always come to you as if you held the key, that you were supposed to fix something for me. That now I'm realizing that I have the complete 100% power to fix myself. So instead of asking for you to fix it, I realize now that you're not supposed to fix it, nor should you fix it. Because that's mine to fix. It's my growth. Okay? Now I might ask you to help support me in a different way. But I am relieving you now of the responsibility of taking care of me and just letting you care about me.